Christmas tidbits. It's good to be back. It's been a long time. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of water over the dam since the last time. But we're going to try it again. And this is the Song of the Sparrow. I like it. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? And not one of them is forgotten before God. But even the very hairs of your head are numbered. Fear ye not, therefore. Ye are of more value than many sparrows. That's taken from Luke. I'm only a little sparrow, a bird of low degree. My life is of little value, but the dear Lord cares for me. He gives me a coat of feathers. It's very plain, I know, without a speck of crimson, for it was not made for show. But it keeps me warm in winter, and it shields me from the rain. Were it bordered with gold and purple, perhaps it would make me vain. And when the springtime cometh, I will build me a little nest, with many a chirp of pleasure in the spot I love the best. I have no barn or storehouse. I neither sow nor reap. God gives me a sparrow's portion, with never a seed to keep. If my meat is sometimes scatty, close pecking makes it sweet. I have always enough to feed me, and life is more than meat. I know there are many sparrows all over the world they are found, but our Heavenly Father knoweth when one of us falls to the ground. Though small, we are never forgotten. Though weak, we are never afraid. For we know the dear Lord keepeth the life of the creatures he made. I fly through city and country. I alight on many a spray. I have no chart or compass, but I never lose the way. I just fold my wings at nightfall wherever I happen to be, for the Father is always watching, and no harm comes to me. I'm only a little sparrow, a bird of low degree, but I know that the Father loves me. Dost thou know his love for thee? This story, it comes from India, and it's called Insight by Gideon Dayak. While Jesus Christ was on earth, he had a special affinity for those who were blind. Among the more than 30 miracles recorded in the 4 apostles, 5 of them were performed on blind persons. Of the five senses, sight may be the most important. It is certainly the most sorely missed when it is gone. The other 4 senses have limitations. We can touch only one thing at a time. We can hear only one whisper at a time. We can appreciate only one predominant taste at a time. We can smell the fragrance of freshly blooming flower only from a particular distance. But when it comes to sight, we can see from east to west, all across the horizon, just by opening our eyes. Jesus said, "For judgment I have come into this world, so that the blind will see, and those who see will become blind." John 9:39. You see, to see again. Ramappa was a blind 60-year-old illiterate Hindu farmer. He and his family lived in a small town in Hoskote, very close to the city of Bangalore in India. Even though he was old, he had never seen any of his family members or even light of day. His many attempts to gain his vision had failed. His only chance of seeing was a corneal implant. Since Ramapa's hometown was very small, it was difficult to access facilities that would enable him to get a cornea. The Lions Club of Hoskote had once launched an eye camp, and Ramapa was one of the patients to be seen for examination. The doctors confirmed that he could gain his vision with the aid of a corneal implant. The Lions Club spared no effort in obtaining a cornea for Ramapa. In due course, they found out that Buddhist monks on the island of Sri Lanka, just below the southern tip of India, were donating corneas to various parts of the world. The monks vowed to donate their corneas, and when they died, these were transported and implanted into recipients' eyes. Thus, Bangalore became a convenient place to implant these organs into eager recipients. Word eventually reached the Hoskote Lions Club that a cornea was going to be made available to them, for which there were two candidates. One was Ramapa, the 60-year-old farmer, and the other a young boy, Satish, only 10 years old. It was a difficult task to determine who would receive the cornea. Some felt that the 10-year-old boy should be the recipient, as he had a long life ahead of him. Some felt that it should go to the 60-year-old man, as he had such a short life ahead of him. It was eventually decided that Ramapa would receive the cornea because he would not have another chance. The boy, it was assumed, would have some chances in the future. The surgery was completed, and in the matter of days, Ramapa was able to see. For the first time in his life, he saw his wife, his children, and his grandson. His joy knew no bounds, as he was able to move freely on his own for the first time in his life. Several months later, the international director of Lions Club visited Bangalore to see the results. Of the club's community service activities. A meeting was arranged and Ramapa was taken to the venue. In the audience were dignitaries of the Lions Club and local federal government officials. During the meeting, Ramapa learned of the circumstances by which he had been given the cornea, and of the decision to have Satish wait for another opportunity to receive his sight. On hearing this, Ramapa stood up and asked for permission to make a public statement. When he was allowed to say a few words, Ramapa said, "I was blind, but now I see. I'm thankful to all of you for having given me this gift of sight. Now that I have seen the light and all that is around me, I'm asking you to take this gifted eye of mine and give it to the young boy, Satish, who still lives in darkness." On hearing this, all the dignitaries stood and gave Ramapa a standing ovation. What a spirit of sacrifice! What a demonstration of the spirit of Messiah, who said, "I have come to give sight to the blind." Taken from Luke. In Mark 10, Jesus had 5 different encounters with the Pharisees, his disciples, the rich young ruler, his disciples again, and Bartimaeus. Except for Bartimaeus, the rest were all blinded by worldly traditions that they were unable to see. The one who had power to make them appreciate spiritual things. Bartimaeus was the only one who felt his need and asked Jesus to heal him. Ramappa, a Hindu, received the gift of sight from Buddhists and reflected the spirit of the one who healed Bartimaeus. May our encounters with Jesus Christ open our eyes to the needs of those around us, and may we use our senses to demonstrate the love of Him who said, "I am the light of the world." Written by Gideon Dayak, is an architect currently serving at the management of risk management in Washington, D.C. For the first time in his life, Ramappa saw his wife, his children, and his grandchildren.